Welcome, time travelers, and welcome, new time travelers. As always, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, come along as we go back in time and learn something. On this day in 1606, British provocateur Guy Fawkes, one of the gunpowder plot conspirators who sought to blow up Parliament and assassinate King James I for his repression of Roman Catholics, was executed in London. In 1797, Austrian composer Franz Schubert, who was born near Vienna. Moving on to 1919, when Jackie Robinson was born. He became the first African-American baseball player in the U.S. major leagues in the 20th century and the league's Rookie of the Year in 1947 and Most Valuable Player in 1949. In 1943, German Field Marshal Frederick Polaris surrendered to the Soviet Red Army at Stalingrad, now Volgograd. His troops surrendered 2 days later. 1949 brought us a full diplomatic recognition to the governments of Israel and Transjordan was announced by the White House. In 1956, Johnny Rotten, lead singer of the Sex Pistols, a rock group that created a British punk movement in the late 1970s, was born in London. 2 years later, in 1958, Explorer 1 was the first artificial space satellite orbited by the United States, marking the country's entry into the space race. 3 years later, in 1961, the American film drama The Misfits, which was directed by John Huston, had its world premiere. It was perhaps best remembered as the final movie of Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable. Moving on to 1966, when the Soviets launched Luna 9, the first spacecraft to make a soft landing on the moon. 1977 is when Pompidou Centre, a French national culture center named for former President Georges Pompidou, opens in Paris. In 1981, American singer and actor Justin Timberlake, who was a member of a hugely successful boy band NSYNC before launching a solo career, was born in Memphis, Tennessee. 1997 is when Mark Deurex, who was already charged with a series of crimes in connection with the exposure of a pedophile ring in Belgium, is charged with the murder of 2 children. Talk about full circle. Anyway, 2001 brought us Libyan national Abdulaziz al-Mohammed al-Maghera was convicted in the 1998 Pan Am Flight 103 bombing, in which 207 people were killed. In 2009, the Scottish government released Maghera from prison after he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Also, 2001 reports surfaced that law enforcement officials in Tampa, Florida, photographed the faces of every spectacular at the Super Bowl in order to find out if any of them were wanted in charges by any agency. In 2020, the United Kingdom formally left the European Union more than 3 years after the country voted for Brexit. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. Until next time.